Okay, hello everybody out there in bigger game land. Rick Tamlin here, author of the Hay House book, proudly holding it up here. Play Your Bigger Game by Rick Tamlin. There's my little name. Anyway, I have with us today an amazing creator, Heather Fox. You're going to know why in a moment. Heather, just a little heads up about who Heather is from my perspective. She came to our event called Produce You, the event last, Heather, what was it, April, right? No,
I
October.
believe so.
No, October.
Maybe October. I think the October.
And reached out and said, oh my gosh, I got a lot of value from that. And it really jump-started my work in the world at a whole nother level. And in my language, that means it's what a bigger game means, is sort of taking one's work and going to the next level. And we had a little chat about it, and she was so generous in your feedback about the event. And I said, I want the world to hear about what you're really doing. So thus this video was created out of that last little connection time we had. So without further ado, bigger game world and my fans and folks who follow me, Heather Fox. How about a little bit of currently what you do and your job and where you live and just the basics for now, the basic 411.
Of course. Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Fox. I live in New York, small county up in New York. I'm a 911 dispatcher. I've been a dispatcher for 17 years.
I'm sure they all heard that 911 dispatcher. I think that got a little garbled. 911, right? So everybody kind of put that in context. First of all, just a little, how much 911 has been happening, right, in the last 2 years, right?
Yes. Yeah, our calls have, they've dropped off at the beginning of the COVID crisis, most of the COVID crisis, that quite a few calls. The emotional content of them, usually some of the calls have less emotional content, and under normal circumstances, my car went off the road, or there's a deer, or there's a dog barking. That certain period of time, all of those calls were very, very emotional, very heavy, very impactful. So that was a challenging time for our field.
Yeah, for your whole field. And so you got activated or motivated, and you said, actually, I don't want to fill in the blanks. Just kind of walk us through the creation story of what you're creating from this situation.
When I came to the class with you, I had taken some time off from work just to try to process, just to try to do a little self-care, and I just, the biggest impression I received, and the biggest thing that got me going, was that the message that I need to get out is in the mess. And the mess, it was just like the stress, the compassion fatigue, the how do I take care of myself, first responders.
Right.
Yeah, 1 in 5 of us will suffer with PTSD throughout the course of our careers, compassion fatigue.
So 911 operators, when you mean your career, you mean that specific group of people, 1 out of 5 of you will suffer from PTSD.
Yeah, at some point, it's quite a few of us. It's something that we're all touched by. So I began to, I was paying attention from your class, all these little pathways started to light up, and all of a sudden, strange things. I get invited to do an interview with another student from your class, and I actually did 2 with her, and I'm like, well, this is not like me speaking at all, just getting out there and doing it. And then I was asked to speak at a fundraiser. I went through an equine therapy class for post-traumatic stress disorder. And they asked me to speak there in front of 300 people about my experiences there and my journey through, and how helpful it was and how helpful it would be for others. And then next step.
I want to make sure equine is the horse, using horses as therapeutic support, correct?
Yes, exactly. And it's not a riding, it's the horses reflect back to us what we're actually feeling. It was an incredible experience on so many levels. But then we went from that to, I had started doing photography as a way to get back into the moment. And it's been very effective for me. And now I'm feeling like, oh, okay, so this is helpful for me. It's going to be helpful for others as well. So I've started to get set into motion Monarch 8 imagery, which is going to be like those, for me, those moments that I've captured where I was able to slow down and take a deep breath and just empty my mind and just be present. And I'm actually able to control the things that I see, like through that lens. So that's been very, very helpful for me. And I want to start sharing that, and I want to start collaborating with my peers about that, and we all get through it together. I mean, the biggest thing I found out too is it takes a village, just like to raise a child. You know, it takes a village to come back from the traumas that we go through.
Right. So like more, a little bit more specific. So you discovered, first of all, you had were you a photographer before, or you dropped, I mean, you were, and then you dropped it, or just as a hobby, or just fun?
Yeah, I had always, all right, I joke around and everybody at work makes fun of me, but I have this cell phone. I had like a little camera, for the kid, my daughter, when they were out like performing and singing. But I joke around at work, I was like, I want a real camera, the kind that you focus, and I have to do that, so they know the real camera. So that was like a self-care gift. It's like, I'm not going to feel guilty about buying that. I'm going to do it. And I dove in with it. So that's how that started.
And then you discovered this act, if you will, of taking a photo actually lowered your anxiety. Am I saying
Yes.
right?
Yes, exactly. Because it's, you step out into it, even just stepping out your front door, anywhere, you just stop and you just take that. I close my eyes, I take that deep breath, and then I open my eyes and I just look.
Mhm.
And what am I seeing? And I look closer. What do I usually miss? And then you start tuning into those things.
Right.
And then later, when you're going through the photos you've taken, and it's just an incredible exercise of mindfulness, of like, everything else is not, you're in the moment. You're not worrying about a call you had. You're not worrying about going to work. You're not in the moment.
Yeah.
So it's been very valuable.
And there's something about, for you in particular, and maybe for other people, I don't know, I want you to tell me more if you're actually doing this, but there's something about looking through a lens that sort of forces the issue, like I am looking at a slice of life, right? And it has me, whatever it happens to be. It kind of makes sense to the soul more than the mind, if you will.
Yeah, it's that laser focus.
Mhm.
Just, I mean, the most, I really, really saw it when I was trying to get pictures of dragonflies at this just wasn't even really a lake. It was just kind of like a drainage area, and nature grew up around it. And, I just walked over and stood there a little while, took that deep breath, closed my eyes, and I see dragonflies
Yeah.
all over. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So deep breath, wait, pictures. And as I'm going through the pictures later, I'm looking at their little faces, and they're interacting with me. It was just so like, okay, we're all here in this moment together, and it's just this moment.
Yeah. Well, a lot of folks in my world, or the world I hang out in, and excuse me, people talk about connection a lot, to feel connected. And, it's a cool word, right? Connected. And you're like, you've got a structure called photography and a camera where you feel, this might be a spiritual word for some of you. It might, I don't know what it might activate in any of you who hear this, but it has this quality of, I feel one with the world.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not separate from it.
Yeah, exactly. Connected to it, interactive with it, a part of it. It's not that feeling of where, you're home alone and you're stressed out and it's just
Right.
you and your thoughts and the world's very small.
Right.
Stepping out into, I mean, even though the subjects that you're focusing on may be small, it's these things that are lighting up, drawing your attention, and then you interacting
Yeah.
and being present and being connected.
Yeah.
And that was so comforting for me, and so
Mm.
very restorative, very restorative. And I'm still very excited about it and very passionate about it. And it's, things are everywhere. Something you notice things when you really look, you notice things you don't ever see on a day-to-day basis. And it's sad that, like, we get so stressed out, we get to that point where we stop noticing those things. So for me, my journey back to the world of, the living and is that connection and noticing and just,
And photography and the camera sort of was the structure for you to feel grounded and connected and whole and one. I mean, we all love these words, but you actually have an activity to remind you of it.
yes.
Right. So you call it, what's the name of it again? You've given it a
Monarch 8 imagery. Yeah, I've chose the monarch just for the restorative,
Right.
the change, the transformation.
Right.
The process is very important, and the 8 for the infinity. And I didn't want to say photography, it's images, it's moments, it's feelings, it's so I kind of put all that together, and that's kind of where it's moving.
Yeah. And so that's a site where you're putting your images on, right?
Yes, well, we're at that big move stage now where we're getting ready to, I've got the site prepared. So now we're just getting ready to start getting things on there, writing about them, because I would like to do a little bit of narrative with each image and invite people to interact, invite people to share. So it's just in its beginning stages of moving forward.
What it wants to be. But it's on.
Oh,
Go ahead. You go ahead.
yeah, it definitely wants to go. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
I think maybe a week or so, 2 weeks ago, it is ready to go. I feel it's ready to go now.
The date then. So everybody, if you're watching this video, the date is November 30th of 2021. So be on the lookout, sort of right around the holiday this year. So Heather, I don't want to quote unquote coach you, but I have sort of a thought. One way, I mean, the goal of this is to calm. Actually, let me ask you, what's the goal of this for other people? What's the outcome you want from this?
The outcome I'd like for this project is for people to know that, number one, they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that we all go through things. And whether you're a first responder or not a first responder, we all have situations where we struggle, where we falter, where we have loss.
Trauma.
Exactly. And I feel that, if this helped me so much going through this process and discovering it, I feel that it would help others, or could help others as well. And so I think that's the bigger picture of it, is that it is the message is in the mess, and it's helped me, and
right.
I feel like I'd like to get it out there to help others.
And out there means, here I have two thoughts, I keep getting these two tracks. One is, I look at your images and it does what it does for me. Like, maybe, and you have people comment and that image calmed me down, and that image reminded me or something, right? It's like seeing your images, correct? Is that
Yes.
that's the first version of this?
Yes. Yeah. And I'm feeling the the collective unconscious part of it as well. Like what speaks to me may not, someone else may get a different perspective,
Right.
which, and I've tested it a little bit with close people, you know, like what comes up for you in this?
Right.
And, you know, so that's been fascinating for me as well, to see like how we all
Right.
perceive things, but the collective unconsciousness of all of it,
Mm-hmm.
it speaks to that.
No, that's
And
fun.
that's what I think is fascinating too.
Right. Yeah. What does it activate? What does it open up in one's mind or one's thoughts? Because the second idea down the road is the part that I'm struck by most. It sort of has this bigger game energy. Is you took action. You said, I need to do something different. I need to create something rather than just sort of sit in my anxiety and worry and do my job. I mean, you have a job to do in the world, but you said, I gotta, you know, and coming to this event, the bigger game, the event we did sort of activated your creative thoughts. I need to create something from this to help other people with this, which is classic, right? You want to
Yes.
help you, but it's like, how do I help others? So I know that's a long way into this. The second thing you might want to consider is actually, it's not helping people become photographers, but it is using photography and having people get a camera and like walk them through the same process you went through and have them create their own, or maybe you create
Exactly.
a website. I mean, I don't know if you're thinking of this already, but all of a sudden they're posting their pictures,
Yes,
right? And
exactly.
so now you have this whole sort of co-created lots of different pictures from all over the world, all under this umbrella of the whole job of this is to lower an anxiety and up our creativity, right?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yes.
So that's, you know, now it's like, okay, it's not just showing my pictures. That's part one. Part two is, you know, and I don't think, here's the cool thing. I don't know, Heather, I don't know what it's called yet, but it's not you're not training photography.
No, no, definitely not.
This is not the right title. It's not the sexy title yet, but using photography to lower our anxiety is sort of the context.
Yes.
Is this the way to think about it? About what is this project about? Because you did it. You went off and bought a camera. You were like, I'm buying a camera. I don't really even know why. Right?
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and you get hundreds of, I'm making it up, you get thousands of people to start taking their versions of what's going to have me feel present and connected photographs. You know, I mean, maybe it's called the One Photo Project or something. I don't know. You've got your name. I don't want to mess with it. But what I loved having you here, what I wanted you here for is like this, you started, you don't have the full plan. You just were called. I gotta do something. This PTSD thing is not okay with me. The level of anxiety in humans with what's happening, I gotta help somehow. And you have figured out a slice of the pie.
It's yes. It's the slice. It's on the way. I mean, I've been doing some instructing and writing some classes, not to do with this particular subject yet, but I have put it in for the next conference, a class outline. I am one of 5, you know, my journey through PTSD, which would incorporate,
Yes.
you know, all of the stressors and then all of the different methods to deal with that, to bring people down. And then,
Right.
and this is, and I feel the photography part would be a branch off of that.
Yes. Right.
I could intermingle the two.
Yeah.
I just feel like things are moving, but I do see that the
Yeah.
path lights up. I
Yeah.
see, you know, oh, okay, we're going this direction. Oh, okay, we're going this direction. I couldn't see any of that before that class with you. I couldn't see it. I was just stuck in this bubble. I couldn't get out of it. I couldn't get out of my way. And your class did activate me into like, okay, here we go. It's happening.
Yeah.
you're public speaking, you're doing interviews, you're doing all these things you'd never, ever, ever do, ever.
You're getting interviewed. Here you are with me in an interview. You're going to speak at a conference, right? It's beautiful. It's classic. It's sort of it's the here's how I believe it works. It's pretty simplistic, but you have a will to make a difference. You know the great phrase, where there's a will, there's a way. And
Yes,
you found your will, and then you took action. And to your point, it's starting to move, and there's no perfect strategy, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely on the way.
one other thing to underline, which I think you're bumping into it. I recently read something, I don't know whether it was Carl Jung or some pretty high level thought leader person. And they literally said you cannot experience anxiety and creativity at the same time.
Exactly. Exactly. Just like you cannot experience like panic and boredom at the same time.
Right. Right.
So yeah, I choose creativity.
Right. That's kind of the point, right? Like to help people lower the anxiety, it's like let's step into creativity, right?
It's
And
a much nicer place.
right, so that's your place, and you feel, and I mean the human soul is here to create, right? We're here to make a difference. We're here to do something. We're here to bake bread. We're here to make a restaurant. We're here to make photography. We're making stuff up, right? We're here to make mugs. We're here to, right? Doesn't matter. And when humans forget that we're here to create, then we sort of get panicky and worried.
Yes. Yeah, especially too with the way things have been. I mean, it's been just tunnel vision with
Yeah.
a lot of very negative things. And
Well,
for this,
survival is like, will I live? Is this close?
yeah,
We all, every one of us is probably 1 degree of separation or knows somebody who has passed.
yes. Yeah, and that was the reason for my break
Right.
from work, is we had lost my coworker to COVID
Mm.
very suddenly. And it was just, yeah,
Heartbreak.
let me take some time and take care of myself. And there you were. Perfect timing, lined up.
How did you find yourself to produce this event thing?
I have Debbie Doig as in my writing group. We've taken a writing class together, a memoir group. And so we've been talking for 2 years now,
Wow.
working towards those memoirs and writing and being creative that way.
Fantastic.
So yes.
Wow. Well, congratulations to sort of being in that creative space. And again, my language, you're playing a bigger game with your life. You're not just getting through your life. But then just a personal moment. Thank you for the 911 calls. I don't know how many you've done in your life, but I make up it's thousands.
Thank you for that.
And we, the average person in the public, have no concept of the level of anxiety and upset and worry and trauma and fear and screaming that must come at you. To be able to hold that space in sort of a calm way is a remarkable art and skill.
It's rewarding. It's sad. It's everything on the spectrum of like how you could feel, or humbling.
Yeah.
It is. So I'm grateful I'm able to help people like when they need it like that. Because really we're all in that position at some point, in our lives, where we're on the other end of the phone, and I've had to make a 911 call. So that's why I have such empathy, because I understand. I understand.
Yeah. So thank you for that part of your life. And then thank you and congratulations to this sort of new expression of your life that's finding its way. So just to be real specific, can you name the website out loud?
Well, we don't have a website yet. I have an Instagram.
Okay. Yeah, go to the Instagram account.
Yes, Monarch 8 Imagery. Facebook.
Monarch 8.
Yes, number 8, and then imagery.
Imagery.
And then
Monarch Imagery. Okay. On
and then
Facebook.
Facebook also, Monarch E Imagery.
Got it. So Facebook or Instagram. Cool. And you'll have announcements and you're probably showing pictures there right now. And yeah. Cool. So a final, putting you totally on the spot. So let go of any performance anxiety or something. But if you were to like offer wisdom to us as the humans we are right now, what might you say?
Oh gosh.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be profound. Let go of profundity. What comes to mind?
Well, I mean, I do public education for the 911 for Kids thing. So I'm pretty much, know your address, case of an emergency, know where you are, stay on the phone until the dispatcher tells you to get off. I mean, that's where I go with that. But I mean, we all.
One part of you. How about the thought leader in you? This person that's, this helping people sort of be more grounded in life. What's that wisdom?
Well, those thoughts are, even though we may feel alone, we're really not alone. We all do. I really do feel we're all like together in that collective unconscious, even if we are alone, physically at home, I believe we're still connected. And when you're present with yourself, you're able to feel that connectedness with others. And I think that's important. And I think also if you're going through something, reach out to someone and say, hey, I'm having a tough time. Or if you see someone struggling, reach out to them, and just do a check-in. How are you doing? Are you, what's going on? Or I think that's the most important thing, because we've lost a lot of that, with just the way our lifestyles are, and everything is so hectic that we just lose sight.
Yeah.
So I think if people are struggling, if you're struggling with something, ask for help. And, if you see someone struggling, just do a check-in, and it can make a world of difference in someone's life.
When you said something inside there that I think is a key phrase, you said, hopefully I'm going to get it right. You said, but when you're connected with yourself, or you're present to yourself, that's when we feel connected to others.
Yes.
And that feels antithetical, right? I need to connect to others instead of let me be present. And then I somehow feel one with all of it. And I think that's what your photography is about. It has you, again, I'm coming back to that phrase, it has us feel one with the universe, humans, the earth, nature, I mean, all of it, right? And it's
Yes.
a little esoteric here, but isn't that the goal? We want to feel connected to all of this.
Exactly.
And we're separate and scared of it.
You've said it eloquently. I know there's depth around what I'm doing. You articulated it, so thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're actually delivering it. I'm a good bumper sticker guy. You're actually doing the work. So thank you, Heather, for being in this conversation. And again, in my language, thank you for kind of allowing yourself to be pulled by something that doesn't make full on sense. Yes. But that creative part of you said, I have to do something with this.
Yes, it is the gulp moment, perhaps, or
it's bold action. It's got a lot of energy around it. So congratulations. Please keep in touch.
Thank you so very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, have at it. And you know me, go get interviewed, go do more podcasts, go get on more stages, talk about this, show your photography. You easily have a TED Talk, can you, within a year to two max. There's a TED Talk in this.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
As a 911 operator, you're interesting. Not how many people say I'm a 911. I mean, that unto itself is interesting. And then how you talk about the work that's come out of your 911 experience and your life experience, that's a TED Talk. That's a 19-minute with slides, and that's a no-brainer. So just to put that in your creative juice.
Yeah, it's there. You've got it. My mind's already going on that one.
Good, good. All right. All right, Heather, have a great rest of your day. Thanks everybody for watching this video. Again, the goal here, or the game I'm in, the bigger game I'm in, is helping all of us figure out what is the creative expression of us that matters to us, that has an impact on other people. And as you go to bed at night and go, man, that was fun. I gave it my best shot and I made a difference, maybe even that much on other people's lives. So, all right, everybody, have a great rest of your day or night or whatever time you're watching this in the world. Be well. Thanks.
Thank you all. Thank you.